Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to, what is this, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Masters? Yes, that's the name of this game. So we're still going through the solo stuff. The Duel Live, by clicking on here, plays a video that they are calling live, but honestly, the moves were very fast when I watched it, and the game I saw was way more thought out and planned. But by the looks of it, it seemed to be very much highlighting the newest of the cards, and it definitely feels like they either had two professionals playing and then they recorded that and played it back, or they just have professionals playing all the time, and this is like top tier play. So, yes, you do have to check it out for what is a ridiculous amount of 5 gems. But I did it, so. And login bonuses. Like, I don't think I'm actually logging out and logging in, so I probably should log out and log in again just to make sure I'm getting these login bonuses, because it has almost certainly been 24 hours. We can actually check that. Yeah. You don't actually have to log out and log in. You just have to let it kind of refresh after you've done any kind of activity. So it seems like, yeah, you will get daily quests, and maybe even daily quests will kind of stack, since this one of activating the spell card in ranked duels didn't quite happen 5 times. So I should be alright playing this game every 3 days, although logging in every single day does feel like it's the way to go, and spectating a duel feels like it's the way to go. There's nothing to claim here. We can look at the secret packs and see that, oh yeah, there's exactly 1 hour left with some of these secret packs. So it's been 23 hours since I opened the first packs, and then that leaves me in kind of a fine place, because what we want here, and we're over 1,000 so we can do this, is to purchase 10 packs of these god cards, which are obviously the way to go. Can we get all of the cards we want? 1 of the Egyptian god cards, and a lot of these helper cards that would make it easier to summon the Egyptian god cards. And now we are going to potentially unlock a pack that already exists and refresh it in the last hour. Although it doesn't matter, frankly. If something locked and the timer ran out and then we started opening packs again, we would just unlock it again. So this token slime gem breeding machine, as a continuous spell, synergizes with a couple other cards so that they can give you like almost a ultimate defense and a and I think also things that can be tributed for tribute summons to help you slow down the game a little bit so you can get the god cards out there in time. Now remember, these are still special cards on the 4 over here, but these other cards are kind of more just going in the general collection of the old cards. So effectively these secret packs are 4 cards you kind of are focused on, and then 4 cards that are just garbage. In fairness, Magic the Gathering packs and most collectible card packs have 4 or more of their 8 cards in the pack, being mostly garbage cards. Magic the Gathering's the worst one because they give you land cards, and that just creates a ridiculous amount of extra land cards for no reason. And Pokemon followed suit with that with their energy mana cards, and that sucks. But yeah, I would say somewhere around 70 to 80% of Magic the Gathering pack cards are low quality, less than $1 worth if you want to put a monetary value on them. But since this is digital, there really is no monetary value in any of these cards, and because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just a little bit crazier than other collectible card games, any card we get potentially does have room for being played. There really isn't a specific card I could name that is just immediately better than another card, with the exception of maybe 30 normal monsters, because yeah, there probably are some normal monsters out there that have 1,000 attack and 1,000 health, and then there's nothing else special about them that you could synergize with. So getting something with even 1,100 attack and 1,100 defense would be better than that card. But even in that scenario, you may have a dinosaur monster that's 1,000 attack, 1,000 health, and then the normal monster that has 1,100 attack and defense. I'm saying health, but I mean defense. Might then be like a robot. And so later on in deeper, higher level play, if you're playing a dinosaur deck and you have cards that only synergize with dinosaurs, or you can only fusion summon with dinosaurs, you still might play the normal dinosaur in your deck versus a normal robot that doesn't synergize with that, or just pictorially and visually to stick with the theme. So yeah, this is another pretty great defense trap. We're gonna end up with so many Exodia pieces though, which is not gonna be that helpful. And I wouldn't be surprised if this game doesn't specifically I don't know what happened there. I wouldn't be surprised if there's my phone started playing audio for some reason. I wouldn't be surprised if this game doesn't actually dissolve the extra Exodia parts, even though you can only have one, because there is a potential out here there will be like some kind of special event where you could have 3 Exodia pieces, or a custom game where you'd want that. Yeah, this Jam Defender I think synergizes with the Jam Factory and creates like a continuous trap with a continuous spell to make it very difficult to actually kill any monsters on the field. In fact, when these strategies are shown in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, there really feels like there's just no strategy that would have possibly defeated in the game at all. And in the actual card game, they probably had to struggle to add cards later that actually would have a chance to defeat these, well, up until that point, feel like undefeatable strategies. But we were promised ultra rares, and it seems like we're really only going to get one here. And meanwhile, we're getting a lot of extra overlapping cards. So far it hasn't really been the return I was looking for. We've opened some packs where we are hitting 4, 5 repeats. And we're getting ultra rare cards, but they're not the god cards. So I almost feel like this was a tease. I guess there is a possibility that you would flip these over and there would be an ultra rare or super rare under them. But also feels like there's a possibility that it feels like that's a very low possibility. If anything, it seems like if it doesn't have a highlight below it, it's only going to be normal or rare, and then the only upgrade is that it might be a shiny. Alright, well, we have the Winged Dragon of Ra as a god card. So we got one, the good one, really. Let's see. Must be summoned, special summoned by its own effect. If the Winged Dragon of Ra is sent from the field to the graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, special summon this card. Cards and effects cannot be activated in response to this effect's activation. This card is unaffected by other cards' effects. You pay 1,000. You can pay 1,000 life points, send one monster on the field to the graveyard once per turn. During your end phase, send this card to the graveyard. If you do special summon one Ring Dragon of Raw Sphere mode from your hand, deck, or graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. So, it feels like you have to have the Sphere mode card to actually summon this. Let's see. You can pay 1,000 life points, send one monster on the field to the graveyard. Yeah. I don't think I can actually play that card. Yeah. Still. But I still think like this is the way to go. If we look here, we're gonna see we have like 8 of these cards now, and this is just like the same card over and over again. So that's a lot of cards to be dusted. Ultimate Divine Beast. These are all helper cards, so theoretically, these would help you get closer to playing the god cards. In fact, even some of these cards might be... I don't recognize this card, so this might be past the point of where I've seen the first season in the anime, because yeah, this has an XYZ material strategy, and there weren't any XYZ materials strategies that in the original Yu-Gi-Oh. Let's see. Holding Arms is a effect monster. Holding Legs is an effect monster. We definitely have a whole bunch of copies of Exodia. A whole bunch of copies of a lot of other things. And we've unlocked a new deck. And I guess we're now back to the normal, where buying 10 packs guarantees you at least one super rare, but if you don't get an ultra rare, then it upgrades to buying 10 packs, guarantees you at least one ultra rare. Where we are here, though, is Yeah, we didn't get the right Raw card. We needed this Raw card, Ring Dragon of Raw. Instead of this one, Immortal Phoenix. Yeah. Cannot be special summoned. Requires 3 tributes on from either side of the field to normal summon to the side of to that side of the field. Cannot be normally set. Then shift control to this card's owner during the end phase of the next turn. Can't attack. Your opponent cannot target this card for attacks or by effects. You contribute this card to special summon 1 wing draw of Raw from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, and if you do, the attack becomes 4,000. So, yeah, this is a way to make it easier to summon either this one or this one. I assume both count. And otherwise, in this deck of custom cards, we have almost everything, so another 10 is going to just be going down the path of trying really hard to get these ultra rares. And yeah, this definitely is starting to feel a lot like pack opening in Magic the Gathering, where your odds are fairly low to get the super rares and the ultra rares, and I don't think there's any limitations, so you could potentially have 3 copies of the God cards, in this case almost 9 copies of Raw equivalent cards, and there's no limitations here on the super rares either. The only cards that are limited are the Exodia cards. So, while it would be potentially interesting to go and just like look at what the featured cards are here, I don't think I want to jump into something that I'm less familiar with. My nostalgia is just too deep to try to get the God cards, and I think I will just go down that route. And in bonus packs, we only have 1 pack right now, so I don't see a real reason to buy that at the moment. Let's actually do a duel. Let's not even get this mission. Let's just hop in and do a duel because it's already been like 20 minutes. No reason not to play a different deck. One of the things that has been fairly a big problem with both Magic the Gathering Arena when I played it and Shadowverse when I played it is the desire to switch between decks is just not really there. Even though there were daily quests that specifically wanted you to play and win as specific characters, particularly in Magic the Gathering, I would really just want to play a black-red deck or pure red deck, pure black deck. Very rarely in Magic did I want to play a blue deck or a white deck or a green deck. And the strategies are, in Magic in particular, too connected to the color of... Let's see. Let's just play that. Let's see if that activates a trap. I think there's these are both CW cards, so let's go ahead and activate that, and then we're gonna reveal a card. And by revealing the card, then probably want something fairly high with a high attack. Yeah, let's just select that one. I don't think that shows specifically, though, the card to him. The time here feels like it's less than it was yesterday. Like, before it was at like 470. It seems like now we are getting somewhere closer to 420. So I'll have to pay attention to that and see what the start number was. He's taking this time to resolve. This Shadow is a big ticket character, and I'm wondering if the El Shaddal name is supposed to be a reference to El Shaddai, which is Jewish for God Almighty, El being the ancient name for Jehovah, God, whatever, and Shaddai being Almighty. So a Japanese mistranslation of Shaddai into Shaddal as a pun. Replay happens. Continue to attack. No. I think your odds are pretty low that defense is not going to be a problem. Although, honestly, you're not really in a great position here, because you attack here and maybe take some damage, or you stay in the attack position and then this one attacks you. But yeah, he's got a 9-star 29.99 and a 25 here, which actually means that this could be a this really could be a special effect I can use. It definitely feels like this is the meta right now, though, is doing a lot of synergy to summon this El Shaddal Winda, and since I'm not really focusing on this top meta, I may very quickly find myself failing miserably against this deck always, and this might get down to the point where we should just abandon it completely and surrender the second we see that this is the type of deck that they're playing, because we are like in a really, really bad position here. And I don't think anything short of clearing the field would help. Okay, well, we can special summon this and face up attack position. We can set things. We can do that. We can do that. We can, I think, just set here. Nope. I guess we need to set here. We just don't have any Utopia cards on the field. No, oddly, it does seem like that timer reset and we got more time. Oddly, it seems like maybe you get time back as a strategy. Can I attack anything here? I guess we'll attack this. And I can't activate anything out of the graveyard. So I'm pretty doomed. Like, he attacks with this one, and this one clears the field, and then he can attack with this one. Ragiki here. Kind of a great card that probably should be in a future deck that we are going to have to actually start thinking about building. I don't think we're going to be able to just lean on structured decks to get us high up into the mid-tier of ranked play. Now, notably, I didn't play a spell card there again. Yep. And didn't feel like we got any kind of real reward for that, and we may start to see that we're going to be stuck in the in the middle there, where we can't actually get any reward decks or anything. The Absolute Monarch is the next solo thing we want to look at. Use the Emperor spell trap cards for successful tribute summons to activate powerful effects. The Emperor's the very embodiment of destruction. Obliterate all. This definitely feels like this is a more narrative thing, and this is something that apparently we unlock this gate by having this material, but where do we get that material? Because we don't have any now. Let's see what the clear rewards are for the scenario. Scenario is a new thing. And this looks like there is actually going to be kind of a cutscenes. It's going to be text, but it definitely looks a lot more polished than anything else we have seen in this game. Which is good, because I would have been fine if this game was 100% just like Magic Arena and there was just really no story mode to it at all. But it is very odd that like Duel Links was so heavy in the story mode that Master Duel would be 100% devoid of it. What we're still obviously missing here is we would like a scenario where we play through a chunk of the anime, and at some point we get to battle Yugi, or at least see him. In this world, some beings embody the concept of destruction. Their dignified appearance and behavior were like those of monarchs. No one knew for what purpose the monarchs sought the destruction of the world. Although maybe they won't ever show any of the characters like Yugi, because maybe they are trying to emphasize a less interest in the characters of the anime and more interest in the actual cards. Arguably, Magic the Gathering sometimes tries to push more interest in the backstory with side books, when really all interest really should be on the cards. They wield their paranormal powers and reduce everything in sight to nothingness. Thunder booms before them and trees turn brittle. They boil the mountains and crack the earth. They conjure storms and submerge all into unfathomable darkness. The text here is kind of small, and I already turned up the card text, so you would expect setting the setting to have the card text larger would have set the setting here to have larger text. It's not terribly small, but I am 10 feet away looking at a TV compared to most people who'd have a monitor right in front of them. No voice acting here, which is probably a good thing. We don't need even bigger downloads. The world steeped in turmoil and rage, subsumed by violence, and when there is nothing more to destroy, they move to the next land, searching for their further destruction. All that witnesses this great destruction shudder in fear. It is the fate of any unfortunate enough to be in their path to disappear in an instant. I feel like very mechanical. And among the destroyers of the world, there is an alpha who looks even bigger. Its overwhelming power of intimidation lays other destroyers prone. It possesses untold strength. Erebus, the Underworld Monarch. Erebus, the Underworld Monarch, sits on his throne in the darkest of darkness, looking on the destruction of the world as if it was the most natural thing. Okay. Interesting. So we now know that scenarios are just dialogue. So if you don't care, you can just skip through all of that, and then you immediately get 3 copies of Escalation of the Monarchs. Once per turn during your opponent's main phase or your opponent's battle phase, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, tribute summon 1 monster. Yeah. So scenarios are going to be, I think, somewhat limited. Now, when I do this practice, it's going to give me 10 of the red mana, which I assume that's what we're going to call it. What makes a Monarch deck unique? When your tribute summons are successfully executed, you are able to use a range of powerful effects, take on your opponent with level 5, level 6 monsters that you can bring out easily, or level out monsters that have even more formidable effects. You can also customize your deck in many ways to experiment with dueling with a range of strategies using Monarch spells and trap cards that will aid with tribute summoning or tributing monsters of different abilities, etc. Yeah, almost certainly the first deck I build is going to just be a horrible mix match thematically. I do recognize this card. This kind of feels like this was a first generation card, but I don't think any of these others are. I think it's very important to point out this music, it is very operatic, to say the least, and I was not expecting to hear vocals in a song. I wouldn't be surprised if this song does not play in regular ranked plays at all. You've drawn Edna, the Heavenly Squire. This is one of the scripted ones. Summon Edia, the Heavenly Squire, and activate its effects. Alright, what is its effect? Special summon a monster with 800 attack, 100 defense from your deck in defensive position. except Idia the Heavenly Squire. You also cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. If this is sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Monarch spells and traps and add it to your hand. You can only use each effect of Idia once per turn. So it's pretty good, but it doesn't allow you to summon one of these and then bring out another Idia to summon another one, because that would be a real nightmare if you could play one card and potentially have 4 cards on the field in the first turn. Alright. You can now perform an extra tribute summon this turn because of Rydo's the Underwire Squire's effect. Tribute summon the level 8 Mobius the Mega Monarch. Do all of them have Monarch in the name? During your main phase, you can tribute summon 1 monster in addition to your normal summon. You can also banish this card from your graveyard to target monsters. We may use that effect too. So, first turn. Like very first turn, and you've got a 28-100 on the field already. And see, all he's got is a whole bunch of defense or spells or traps, so they may still mess with us. You can target up to 3 spells trap cards on the field and destroy those targets with his effect, since he is so powerful. So that, and that. And you have to do this all in order. Some of this Konami could have worked on to make it a little easier to do that. Select things in groups, draw a little box around it. Now the problem with this is each one of those are summoned, but it doesn't matter because they're still spells and traps cards, so they were just destroyed. So they might as well have activated that effect just to show off, but to save time, they could have also not activated those effects. That's a nice little bit of extra information you learn. So that gave me 150 of Orb Earth, which I guess this is Earth. A Earth Orb for unlocking locked chapters in solo mode, which seems like it is just going to be its own secondary quest. And then next we do a real duel. And if all the solo modes are more constricted like this, where it is going to only be 4 to 7 things you can do, and one of them is going to be a dialogue thing, that would be great. We could really burn through solo stuff fairly quickly, but I don't honestly know how much solo stuff exists. So we have this. At the start of your main phase, banish 3 or 6 random face-down cards from your extra stack. Draw 1 card for every 3 cards banished. For the rest of the turn after this card revives, you cannot draw any cards by cards effects. Okay. Send 1 Monarch spell trap card from your hand to the graveyard. Draw 2 cards. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Reveal 3 Monarch spell trap cards from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 for you to add to your hand, and you shuffle the rest back into the deck. Okay. During This turn, if you attribute summon a monster for attribute summon, you contribute one monster your opponent controls. You can only activate one Monarch Stormfront. So I think we'll set that, first of all. And then... I guess we'll sell that. And then... Was this a Monarch spell? Man, no, I needed this in my hand. So I've messed up. Whatever. Continue with your main phase. Why are you asking me? It's like... Seems like they've just in less than 24 hours they've now put out a prompt. I did change several of the settings. I don't think we can do that right now. So yeah, maybe there is a this is a quick play spell, so you're gonna play it. You have a lot more opportunities to play it. Alright, draw. Okay. This is 8, this is 8. Effect, activate this effect, and then oh, both of these can actually be activated. Okay, so I'm gonna reveal this card. And then go ahead and just activate this effect. And then what trap do we want to... Yeah, let's just try this card. Okay. I have no idea what I'm trying to do here. Like they gave me just like the barest of strategy here. And it didn't really explain didn't really make sense. Okay. Let's go back a little bit. I think this is the one we want to summon. And then that and that. No, start with that one. And that's one. And then start with this one. Then activate that ability to destroy that. Yeah, I don't know if it really is smart to discard a card to draw 2 more cards. But we'll see. I imagine the prompt or the question, do you want to continue your turn, comes up very rarely in most cases. And that's probably why we haven't seen it before. And this is the different playfield. And I like it. It is a little bit visually more distinct. The green one with the greenery is a little too brown all over the place, where black and red is visually more distinctive. Let's see. Six cards? Sure. And then draw 2 more cards that way. Activate this ability again. Put another one of these on the field. And then I'm not sure any of these actually would do anything, so we should probably just tribute summon something. Tribute summoning by tributing 1. No, I don't think we want to just tribute. I think we just want to tribute 2. That one. And then that one. No choice. I guess I have to destroy one of my own cards. And I have no idea if any of these cards going to the graveyard matter. Doesn't seem like... Oh, there is an effect activation that can happen here. Let's see. Let's select this and see what this effect does. It's having me select a card or 2. Select 3 cards and make the opponent pick it. So I could have affected that and done that. And then we can also do this. And that puts another one back. So yeah, there's a lot of room here to learn a lot more on these cards than what I'm learning. And that is just kind of a matter of time. You would have to... These solo sections would have to have you play multiple games to become really familiar with the decks, and that would be arduous and a pain. And that definitely explains why you have a gate here. So yeah, it does seem like this is labeled as cleared, but maybe you can just play it again to acquire the amount again. I'm not sure. It's cleared but not completed. You know what? Actually, we should just start with the starter deck and see how playable that is. Really. Playing that exact same duel again. That's something that clearly needs to be all on one screen. Like, it would have been very, very easy for a player to not realize that they wanted you to beat it not just with the loner deck, but with the your own deck. And this is definitely going to be a case where the music could get very annoying if playing the exact same field twice. And yes, I did notice that the music was the music changed when the life of the opponent went down. The life points. I'm not using this card very well. Dust Tornado. You're supposed to set a spell, a trap. That way you keep a spell, a trap. This one will bring somebody back from the graveyard. What can we special summon here? It's not a terrible thought. Let's see what happens here. Yeah. And then go to main phase 2. At that point, special summon this character. Now we can activate this in response to actions and bring back one of those characters. Nope, we don't want to activate that one. We may not actually be able to activate. That needs to pull the card and move a lot faster. Oops, that was a defensive character, so that was really useless. Well, I guess we tribute that and destroy that. And then we can activate this as a chain. And then we can bring this back. Which that's great and all, but doesn't address that. I'd really like this in defense mode, and I don't have a good way to turn it into defense mode. And until I get a trap or spell, I can't play this one to its full effect. Now we can. What does this one do? Damage equal. just take victory here. We could have fusion summoned something extra. So yeah, starter deck, definitely doable. There's no real strategy there that's a problem. So now that is labeled complete, and we now have another Monarch card, or our first Monarch card. When this is normal or special summon, you can target 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard, banish them, and send the same number of cards from the top of the deck to the graveyard. This card cannot attack during the turn it's normal or special summoned. It is also worth pointing out that in Yu-Gi-Oh, the second you run out of cards, you lose. Shadowverse has that same rule, but there are some cards that actually make it so when you run out of cards, you win. I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh has a lot of strategies like that. There might be 1 or 2 strategies like that. And Magic the Gathering, being like one of the earliest collectible card games, has the war system where you just take like 1 damage for every card you draw once you run out of cards, so it takes quite a while for you to actually lose. I think Hearthstone also kind of follows that rule where you don't immediately lose when you run out of cards, which those different ideologies definitely highlight how long they want their games to go. Particularly if you've gone through 40 cards, you probably deserve to lose at that point. So clicking this, I cannot unlock it. Interesting. And playing this again, I assume I can't just acquire it again. Can I? Seems like playing it again, you do get the opportunity to choose sides, which you didn't before. So now third time's a charm. Alright. A continuous spell. Another continuous spell. I guess we'll set this. We'll activate this effect. We will I guess send that to the graveyard. This could be activated. Is this a field spell though? No. Continue your main phase at this point, I guess. Yes. Guess we'll just end there. I think that's pretty much all we can do. Hmm. We definitely need this Edna or Dina, Heavenly Squire. What does this do? We can activate that too. That would be helpful. We will again choose things that look kind of interesting. Now the thing there is you saw a very fast animation of shuffling, but in the real world that would totally be a nightmare of having to show 3 cards and then shuffle your deck. So you want to be fairly careful about going down that route and having a lot of cards that you have to shuffle. I have no idea what these effects are going to do. Return a card to your hand. Select a card to send to the graveyard. And then I guess this is what's in your hand versus this is what's in the graveyard, in the deck. Select a monster to special summon from your deck. 28, 28, 28, 28. Are they all at 28? With 100 defense? It seems like this. All of these feel like they are tribute summoned. When this is tribute summoned, when this card is tribute summoned, when this card is tribute summoned, so yeah, we'll spell. Trap. Activate effect. Discard. Okay. And these effects can't do anything. Darn it. This did not protect me because the card effect didn't directly destroy it, it just increased the attack on that character. Let's see. Well, we brought it back for some defense, at least. Target 2 cards. I'll definitely want one of those. And that one. I assume those 2 cards are being discarded. Nope, they're being added back to the deck. Interesting. So you've got a whole system here of discarding cards, bringing them back to the deck. shuffling things back in, which may be a mistake in the short run. Let's see. Could I have tributed, summoned something here? I don't think I could have. Let's not activate that spell. I don't know what I really want here. I'm gonna select that one. Yeah, that may have been a mistake. Mistakes may have been made here. Because I think this destroys the card later on. Yeah, let's activate this effect. Banish a card to the graveyard. That one. Yes. Send that to the graveyard. I think send probably all of those to the graveyard. We'll just pick another one. Man, we are activating a lot of effects, and this is a really great example of where Yu-Gi-Oh! Can get kind of crazy, is that you can... This is probably the best guy. Let's see, summon that. Activate that. Might as well activate this. Summon. That one. to start with, and then that one. What is this effect? Yeah, let's just activate it without actually reading what it does. Get rid of one of his cards. Interesting. Yeah. I guess you can set this also. And so I've turned things around by playing a lot here. But I may very well be just wasting my time and not get any more of the mana that's necessary. Do I want to tribute summon something? Yes, I do. Do I want to activate that effect? Sure, why not? I have 18 cards in my deck. He has 30 cards in his deck though, so clearly I have burnt a lot more cards. Just banish 6 cards at random. And then bring a couple cards back. Can we put this in attack position? Yes, we can. Can we do something else? So I'm gonna do that. That way I can destroy this card and banish it. And then do 1,000 damage to him. And that just makes everything safer. Plus now I can bring it back. Not that I needed that. Once you gain momentum in Yu-Gi-Oh, a lot of times you don't lose momentum. Where, compared to Magic the Gathering, that you can easily gain a few steps of momentum and then lose it again. In all honesty, if the most recent Yu-Gi-Oh game hadn't been Duel Links, that was just so strange and looked so much like a mobile game, I would have moved from Hearthstone directly to Yu-Gi-Oh. I actually looked at Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and spotlighted it a year or two ago. But yeah, I just find Yu-Gi-Oh! To be more interesting to play for its weirdness than Magic the Gathering. It's just, I guess, collect these rewards, which this is a whole deck. And then this is an interesting picture, but I don't think it has anything to do anything with anything. Already have some of these cards even, and I imagine we're going to find that's the case always. So you get another scenario here. The advance of the monarchs who embody the very concept of destruction continue. How many countless worlds must have they destroyed? Lightning storms, blizzards, lava, and seismic catastrophe, all manners of destruction assail the world. As they advance, the monarchs grow even stronger, perpetually pushing the boundaries of destruction. Their power defiles all matter equally. There's no way to discern whether or not the monarchs are aware of what they destroy. They advance, thoroughly expunging all that enters their field of vision, no matter the scenery. However, in a land reduced to rubble, from the heavens descended the Creator. So here's potentially a counter character to push the narrative and the story forward. This definitely does not feel like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime cartoon. And I bet the Monarchs and I bet these characters never actually show up as anything more than cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cartoon. Which, you know what? That's probably more for the better, because if you can tell just really short narrative stories around the cards that are much closer to the lore that is sometimes at the bottom of cards, you can go in a lot of different directions. Where if you're just limited to telling stories or retelling stories of Yugi and fighting Kaiba and over again, which, let's face it, Yugi fighting Kaiba happened a lot in the first series of Yu-Gi-Oh! That you're kind of limited there. Ether, the heavenly monarch. The savior descended as if a miracle to a land awaiting its destruction. Whether this creator could be counted as one of the monarchs is unknown. The ground in which the creator has landed slowly begins to revive. A day will surely come when this land, regenerated by the creator, will be destroyed again. Nonetheless, with no reward, Ether, the heavenly monarch, fills the ruined world with the light of rebirth. So, yeah. One more structured deck. I kind of like the idea of having to go through solo mode to get these structured decks. Otherwise, you're just gonna anybody that just wants to play ranked is gonna have to start paying to win. Otherwise, you probably still would have to pay to win to get to higher ranks in the ranked play. But for the people willing to mine the depths of the solo mode, they're getting rewarded a decent amount here. The only thing I would say is there's just some slight problems with explaining that it visually, and just telling the player when they first start a new account that that's how this is going to go. So we have Emergence of the Monarchs. Use a tribute summon to unleash the power of a level 6 Monarchs. It's important to have a Monarch to tribute for double summon or reinforce truth. Two cards I'm not familiar with. And then they say the gate is clear and we've unlocked an extended secret. And then it immediately is going to take me to the store, which I guess we'll just go to the store and look at that right now. So we have supernatural elements here that would let us buy more cards in this realm, which I assume this is what this is kind of a great example of what pickup summons would be. Is they're going to give you cards that aren't in the default structured deck that would turn a default structured deck into a much higher powerhouse deck, a second generation of that. That being said, I'm not sure I really want to go this route and instead of just playing the god cards. I just think I'm too nostalgic. The odds here. Oh, there's no response from the game server. Yeah. Your odds of getting an ultra rare are 2.5%. So pretty low, but not anywhere as low as it normally would be. I've definitely seen way worse odds. Like 20% chance of a super rare or ultra rare if you have confirmed super rare by buying 10 packs, and then 100% chance of an ultra rare for card number 8 if an ultra rare is confirmed. When you purchase 10 packs, the 8th card in the 10th pack is going to be super rare or higher. If you don't draw an ultra rare in the last 10 card packs, the next 10 card packs you purchase, the 8th card in the 10th pack is guaranteed to be an ultra rare. So that's not really great. Here we can see Royal Finish as a specific style of cards is only a 1%. So you have a 1% chance of getting a Royal Finish on ultra rare and super rare cards, which your best odds of getting an ultra rare or super rare is 80% if you buy 10 packs. So 1% of 80%. So wouldn't that be 0.1% at that point? And to get the Royal Finish, you almost have a 10% chance of getting a glossy finish, and then you have a 90% chance of getting the basic finish, non-foil. We've seen a lot of these glossy finishes. We haven't seen a single Royal Finish. For rare and normal cards, there isn't any chances at all of getting a Royal Finish, which just probably tells me they don't exist, and that's probably more the better. I can't really say that's a terrible The first 4 cards in the secret packs are common to all secret packs and are drawn from the same cards as the master pack. The 5th to the 8th card are featured cards for each secret path. Interesting that the important notes here seem to be almost exactly the same wording as the notes specific to that pack. Alright. So what did we do? We dueled in solo mode to get another 20 gems as far as the daily quest, and so apparently we'll just get daily quest to duel. We have activated a spell to get another 20 gems. Unlimited missions here. We found another secret pack or 2 to get 100 more gems. We went further in solo mode, so we're getting more gems that way. Getting more crafting points. 300 gems for moving the solo gate, which whatever this solo gate is that they're talking about does not feel like it is the same as the other gates. Seems like they're just kind of using the phrase gate haphazardly in kind of a repetitive way to mean a couple different things. Yeah. Yeah, and I have to stand with the great olds as far as we're just gonna have to keep doubling down here until we get the cards that we want. At least one god card. So another 1,000 gems. It is extremely possible that, like, the Monarch cards we just played even are so much easier to summon compared to these god cards that it actually isn't worth it to try and play the god cards. But yeah, a lot of these thematic cards really are more in the realm of things that people are going to have nostalgia with, and just different visuals and themes that you would want to play with. We may very well be at the point now where in this 10 pack, all 4 of the last 4 cards will be redundant, and since this is just the old general pool of cards, 6,570 cards, we'll still be getting new things here. That is somewhat helpful, even though they are probably junk cards, but we are just slowly filling out a collection of junk cards and legacy cards that float around. But also think about it from the perspective of, like, an obsessive compulsive collector who was trying to own all of the Yu-Gi-Oh cards that existed. It would be very ridiculous to try and have even one copy of 6,550 cards. That's a lot. You have a binder, and maybe you can get 200 or 300 cards in one binder of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Assuming a binder could hold about 300, you're talking no less than 20 binders, and then you probably at that level also need to break things up into something that makes a lot more sense. You get somewhere closer to 26 binders for each letter of the English alphabet, and then potentially have a lot of normals and rares, filling up long boxes, or the equivalent of long boxes. That's what they're called in comics. Because a lot of cards, certainly, like Rydo, for instance, I bet if you went to a card shop, they would have at least 1,000 Karibos in a box, to the point where they would just start tearing up and throwing away Karibos or giving them away for free. That there has definitely been talk in the past of people buying, like, magic packs at card shops, and as they're opening the packs, when they get garbage cards that are worth less than $1 and they just never play, they're tearing the cards in half and just throwing them on the floor. They're not even trying to give them to other people, because they, I guess, don't want the competition, or they just don't care. So we did get new cards. Yeah. So you can just quadruple down and keep on opening the same themed secret deck over and over again. I don't think the 2 things to receive here are much. That was literally just 20 gems. Just to keep things interesting, let's play another duel. And since we now have Emergence of the Monarchs, it definitely wouldn't make sense to play that new duel. Notice how they've kept the visual of these decks really small on that screen. That's going to be a great thing in the long run. Magic Arena definitely had too much, like too big icons, and so even when you were selecting a deck, they were really only showing you maybe 30 decks on the screen before you had to start scrolling down. And Magic the Gathering has enough of a variety of potential decks that you could own, that as Magic Arena becomes more mature, I could see lots of players having 50-60 decks that they want to keep, even if they're only playing maybe 5 or 6 at the time. Although then again, Magic makes everything reset. 4 to 80 is the timer here, but it is also not counting down for me, so I'm not seeing his time. Maybe the color indicates some of that. Yeah, it would be kind of hard to have more than even like 10 or 12 decks in Magic before you have to start changing those decks over and over again. But it could definitely be done. You could have lots of different colors. You could have 5 solid colors, like a pure red, pure blue for each color. You could have mixed colors, like a red blue or a red green, so you could mix that way and get up to 15 decks fairly easily if you're just an all-around player in Magic. And then you could also have other kinds of decks instead of just the standard play. Right. So yeah, I think the yellow here indicates how much time he spends. And so as the yellow fills in here, they're running out of more and more time. Although it doesn't seem like that really makes sense, because it seems like it kind of jumps immediately to this position. We'll put that on the ground. We will see what else we can do. Just kind of play everything, I guess. And don't use double summon at the moment. Yeah, it indicates that you've lost a much larger chunk of time than you actually have, compared to the numbers. Let's see, 60 seconds would be a minute. Then you double that to 120, that'd be 2 minutes. Then you double that to 240, that'd be 4 minutes. So 480 would be 8 minutes. So every game theoretically here, so yeah. Special summon 1 love or 1 your deck. Cannot conduct your battle phase the turn this is activated, so we want to activate that now, I guess. So we want something with a decent defense. So we'll select this. Mm. Mm. Yeah, I'm talking about Magic a lot right now, but once we're kind of done with the solo stuff, I think, well, once I'm done with the solo stuff, then I'll be just live streaming, and then I'll be talking about video game news while playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And commentating on Yu-Gi-Oh! Not much at all. See, this is kind of a great example of what a real game feels like. You're seeing the player actually think about it and take their time. The Duel live video looked nothing like this at all. It really didn't. It was super snappy. People were doing quite a lot in the moves. They were doing the right things in the moves. Even the placement of where cards were was very fancy, as far as putting it in specific spots for really no good reason. Hmm. Well, that saved me a little battle damage. But I don't think I'm in the greatest of position. Then you have these little fairy characters in this different animation. I don't even know why you would make this as a visual thing you could change. Seems fairly silly. And then, yeah, just getting this to go away seems silly. Alright, summon. Can I not activate the spell? Okay. Summon. So I probably should have brought this guy to the field instead of the defense character. But I can tell that this structured deck is weaker than what we were playing as far as the mana cards in the solo mode. And I have to assume that for this ranked play, when you get up a rank, you just kind of keep that rank, at least on the lower tiers. Hearthstone had a weird thing where when you got to Legendary, then you started playing in a whole different league, and winning or losing or just not playing would lower your rank number. He's taking forever. But yeah, I could see you just don't lose a rank until the season resets and you just get higher. Or once you hit bronze, you never fall below bronze, where Hearthstone you could kind of fall to lower ranks. And that never really felt great. I never got very high in Hearthstone even. And I probably won't get very high here either as far as ranks. I'm just not going to play this game every single day for 8 hours a day like a lot of other people would. And interesting, we're having connecting issues. pretty much thought I'd fixed my network issues, and I don't feel like this is my network. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the other person having connection issues, or just Konami servers having connection issues. But yeah, we can see here there's a little Wi-Fi signal issue showing up here. If I am having connection issues, what it looks like I might be. What can we do to fix that? Playing this really at the time when network issues have been kind of hurting my internet connection, and yeah. Let's see. Let's try this. And then this. Connect it to my Wi-Fi router. Like, honestly, I think it's my ISP that's having trouble. Yeah. I could reboot my router, which would probably take too long. In fact, I'm a little surprised that it hasn't already done that. Okay, well, at least we know what a network connection issue looks like. That sucks. Alright. So, I guess the question would come down to how much of this game can you play when you can't connect to the server? Well, there it fixed itself. Yeah, it is my ISP, I'm fairly certain, because I didn't reboot my router or do anything. All of a sudden now we have some scrolls down. So either by clearing the Absolute Monarch, this is showing more, or I half suspect that they've just kind of fixed a glitch where this was not showing up. Maybe because I'm not connected, I wasn't connected to the server and then reconnected, it fixed the glitch. So, unlocked when Absolute Monarch is cleared, and unlocked when Warriors of the Sixth Elemental Lords is cleared. So we've got quite a journey here. Much more than I thought to start with, but also not kind of a ridiculous amount. None of these also feel like they're gonna involve the anime at all, which, okay, kind of makes sense. I'm half wondering if, since this one gave us a little bit of dark and a little bit of earth, maybe the gate to unlock the extra here will give us, maybe we'll do this and we'll get a little bit more dark, and then we can go back and do the extra stuff. And maybe there is just enough here that once you've done all of these, you'll have either the exact right amount to unlock all the gates we might see, or the even a little bit more would be nice. So beckon the elemental lords to the field, take advantage of the element saber ability to change attributes in the graveyard, control the power of the mighty elements. It also seems like when it reconnected, it didn't say anything to me. So I assume I forfeited that game, but they seem like to not even mentioned it. Like that you automatically forfeited because your internet connection was bad. And see, that is exactly the same thing that was happening when I was playing with Magic Arena, and I mean, that's my ISP. My ISP is not terrible, but it's an ISP in the United States, so it's not great as far as consistency and uptime. But yeah. So if all of a sudden I couldn't log back into Master Duel, or they sent me an Aster No to ban me, then that would be the end of playing Master Duel, in the same way it was the end of playing Magic Arena. The Warriors of the Six Elemental Lords. You'd almost wonder if this is storyline that would connect together. Honestly, it feels like the elements should have been explained a little bit earlier. The world is comprised of 6 elements: earth, water, fire, wind. I guess it's this lightning thing. Light and dark. That would be my guess. The elements were brought to Earth by the 6 elemental lords. It is, I think, scientifically worth pointing out that there is nothing realistically connecting water to earth, wind, and fire, because water is a chemical compound. Generally, it's H2O. Most water has a lot of other stuff in it. Earth is just a combination, a generic term for chemical compounds of dirt, silicon, a lot of clay, just rocks, minerals, crystals, things like that. Air is a chemical compound of generally oxygen with some other elements, hydrogen also in it, and lots of other things. But fire is not a chemical compound. Like, fire is a chemical process. It exists as other chemical compounds are converting in the presence of oxygen from one thing to another. You burn paper and you're turning it into carbon ash. Light is something that kind of stands completely scientifically on its own as being a particle and wave of photons, and darkness is basically nothing. It's just the absence of light. It's a subjective term. So yeah, the earth, wind, fire, all of that is just old alchemy thinking before real chemistry had been discovered, more than anything. And for video games to have a rock, paper, scissors ability where one element is stronger or weaker to another element, Japanese games in particular love to have these elements, and then they've expanded from what you might have started with a basic fire, water, earth, and left air out. They've added air, and then they've added light and darkness to be their own separate thing. Usually in games, light and darkness are strong against all the other 4 main elements anyways. So light and darkness tend to be at a higher tier. Moving on with the story, the world is at peace as long as the 6 elements are in equilibrium. However, when the balance is disturbed, the elemental lords appear. When the elemental lords' physical forms have increased in density enough to be seen by humans, disaster occurs. The elemental lords have appeared numerous times, causing natural disasters throughout the world. The ancients built temples to calm these recurring natural disasters. People prayed continually, but the elemental lords did not possess the capability to answer those prayers. However, the people's desperate prayers would be unanswered miraculously. Their desperate prayers would be answered miraculously after hundreds of years. Another power that has nothing to do with the elemental lords may have taken pity on them. And they're just going to straight up show you cards, which this is different. I'm not sure I really feel like it's worth their effort to make these kind of animations, because they're not animations that are actually be playable in the game, so you're only going to see this like once. And maybe this is just promo material that they would have made commercials for this card expansion, and they're just reusing promo material. But yeah, if they're just going to show me cards, they should just show me cards. Otherwise, just don't show me anything. This scene would have looked fairly similar had it just been text. The elemental lords chose a handful of humans. They were called the Element Saber. They served the element lords and maintained the order of the elements. What is that anime? This feels a lot like that. Saint Seiya? Yeah. This looks a lot like an anime called Saint Seiya. And I believe the Saint Seiya characters represented not elements, but Greek gods. But then again, I guess a lot of Greek gods probably represented the elements. So we have a card, Element Saber Molehu. Once per turn, quick effect, you can send one elemental saber monster from your hand to the graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field, change it to a face-down defense position. Once per turn, if this card is in the graveyard, you can declare one attribute. This card in the graveyard becomes the attribute until the end of the turn. Alright, well, we're going to have to understand the synergy of changing attributes of cards in the graveyard a lot better before we can make any sense out of that. This needs 200 light. Yeah, I don't really get this, because you can't even like buy these resources. You only get them seemingly from practice mode. But this does give me 150 dark, so seems like I can possibly go back and open the gate and play a couple more games. And maybe that's the idea, is that we should just go through everything once and then start unlocking gates and then completing everything. What makes an Element Saber deck unique? Element Saber monsters have the effects that allow their attributes to be changed while they're in the graveyard. When you have 5 Elemental Saber monsters in the graveyard, you can use each of their effects to fulfill the special summon conditions for the mighty Elemental Lords, which is to have 5 monsters of the same attribute in your graveyard as specified in the description. Okay, so we now know the strategy. It means under our fusion deck, activate Palace of Elemental Lords. Yeah, under this fusion deck somewhere is going to be something. Dark, Earth, Water, Fire, and Wind. You can destroy all cards your opponent controls. 5-headed Link Dragon. I don't know if the prompt really needs to be in the middle here, but I guess that works. Using the effect of Palace of Elemental Lords, put this to your hand. Activate the effect of this card you just added to perform a special summon. Face up is where they want it. They don't care where you put it. Depending on the attribute of the element saber sent to the graveyard, element saber Lapeluya mana activates powerful effects that protect you and your monsters when special summoned. In addition, Palace of Element Lords has the effect to increase your monster's attack and defense depending on the number of different attributes in the monster's graveyard. There are currently 2 Element Saber Nalu water monsters in your graveyard. Activate the effect of Element Saber Nalu from the graveyard and change its attribute. Okay, what do you want me to change it to? If we have water, let's just start with light. Now element saber Malu as well, and activate your 2 powered up monsters. Apparently didn't matter what I changed it to. What will be funny here is if it turns out I chose poorly and I was supposed to win in one turn and can't. But nope, not the case. Yeah, seems like that really didn't matter what I changed it to. So I guess their idea there is to not agonize over that too much. And so, yeah, it seems like once again you're gonna end up playing this twice. So it seems like we're gonna have to loop all the way through, so it probably would make some sense to just get the story, play these duels once, come back, play it a second time for more constructed decks. And just move from that. Alright. I don't know why it wants me specifically to draw and then like slow down the game that way. It really feels like there should be just an auto draw option. Okay. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls. If you control no face-up, activate one of the effects. Destroy all attack positions. Destroy all spell trap cards. Alright, how about destroy all spell and trap cards. Reinforce Truth. Summons a character. Now. Okay. What does this one do? Select that one. And select that one. Put that on the field. Put that on the field. Yep. Ideally, I'd like to just get rid of this mate character. And yep, this is another one of these areas where a new playfield, and I'm not really even paying attention to it. Why would I, really? But you can definitely see how this extra visuals here does not really connect to this playfield well at all. But yeah, I want to turn off the mates. They're just gonna make extra noise while playing. If anything, I may want to just turn down the music. So, do we have an effect we can activate here? Start with light. Summon that. What can we special summon? Something for 1400. Do I need 2 light monsters? Yes, I do, so we'll try this after we attack. We probably could win here, but just for giggles, we'll special summon this guy. And it's already light, so you would then want to change it to dark, and that probably would hurt more than help. Because we should have a light and we should have a dark character in the field. Yep, we can't do anything here. We have something. Let's see, water. Fire. Just kind of going all over the place. Not sure and know what specific cards I should be putting in here, but we'll throw some cards in. Well, it seems like at this point we could special summon another one, but why would we? This is way better. Let's go. Yeah, go ahead and just kill it anyways. And then just win. We don't need to goof around that much. Like, ideally, I would like to get these episodes to be a little bit shorter and not end up making 2-hour and 45-minute episodes just doing all the solo stuff. Yeah, I guess they do pop up a notification there that says loaner deck and otherwise my deck. And yeah, let's just finish the story. Seems like these are going to be fairly simple for click stories. The element saber now protect the temples which pilgrims no longer visit, and day to day they manage the elements that comprise the world to not flare out of control. Let me say, for example, the element of fire flares up. The element saber would enhance the power of the water elements. It would rain throughout the lands, extinguishing the flames. When one element gets out of hand, the forces of the opposite elements are increased, restoring balance. The element sabers inherit only a fraction of the element lord's authority and cannot exercise all their power, nor should that power make them feel as if they are gods. We really only got to play with this one card. They use their ability to command, train, and do right. Training never ends for the element sabers. And so this gives us Umbra Mirage, the element lord. Cannot be normal summon set, must be special summoned from your hand by having exactly 5 dark monsters in your graveyard. If this card is special summoned, add 1 monster with 1500 or attack from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Umbra Bridge, the element lord, once per turn. If this face-up card leaves the field, skip the battle phase next turn. Doesn't sound like the best card ever. But doesn't seem terrible either. And so we've got an extended secret here. Let's go ahead and click cancel here. This clear reward would just be these cards. So when do you get a reward of a full deck? Kind of doesn't seem like you do. So we didn't get a structured deck this time, but we did in the previous one. So new gate options are now available. Exactly 1. And I guess each one of these that has the gate symbol on them, all of a sudden that's being shown up. No, it's not just one, it's this one and this one, and they're oddly skipping this one. So we might have to go in just like full circles to get everything done. Which really makes it feel like there should be a separate tutorial for just the tutorial and duel strategy. That doesn't really feel like that. Yeah, you'd almost assume that there would be a new notification here saying, yeah, you disconnected. But yeah, I don't have any note there. Let's see. You can get 200 gems here. And we have monster art. Which this is the first time we've gotten monster art. What else have we unlocked? It says there's something else we've unlocked. Some more crafting points. As far as actual daily quests. Activate a trap card 5 times. Win a duel and ranked duel 5 times. Is that reset? Yeah. Feels like it doesn't really need to connect to do that. And we don't have enough gems here. And if we were to Say watch a duel live and spectate. It's probably not worth sitting through all the spectation. So I really just want to jump in this and see if it shows me the exact same game I saw. I don't think this is. So they anonymize these people, and you have Duelist A and Duelist B. Let's go ahead and click the fast forward. And they show off your characters and your icons. But yeah, if you fast forward through like this, you'll get the daily quest, but you probably won't get the general gist of all the cards that are being played. You would have to really know what every single card did at this speed. And even when this speed is turned off, it still moves incredibly snappy compared to a regular game. Which definitely makes me feel like this is a pre-recorded game that is either a pre-recorded high-level game. It is interesting. You don't have avatars in this game. You don't have emotes. You don't have any chat or anything like that. So this one's going to end fairly quickly at this rate. So there's a lot of safety in here that they clearly put a lot of thought into, coming from the idea that there would be a decent amount of kids probably playing this game as much as the older adult fans. So yeah, unless this was a chat log here, which I don't think it is. Nope, this just shows you numbers. Like, maybe if you were friends with somebody. I don't even know how he just won there. He must have just done a ridiculous amount of damage. I assume this would say Duelist A summoned Exodia if he won by summoning Exodia or doing something else, instead of just reducing the life points to 0. But I wouldn't be surprised if you actually summon an Exodia. Then it reduces the life points to 0 anyways, and it still says that. Which, yeah. I think there's probably an overemphasis on the Duel Live stuff. I get the sell. I get the idea of saying, hey, we've got this selection pack until March. I get the survey thing. I think at this point I probably would be ready to do the survey. And that's just like 5 gems, so they're not really rewarding you for doing that at all. Alright, let's look at the survey. Since I don't want to jump into another game. And let's see, survey. Survey, 50 gems. Are you enjoying dueling? Yes. I'll say yes. Do you feel you understand how to duel? Not quite. I'll give that less because honestly they didn't explain it. Do you think the background music... I think it's good. I think it's bad. I actually think it's good. Interesting that they moved it around here. What do you think of the pacing of the animations during the duel? I think they're a little slow personally, but I like things to move a little snappier. Let's see. So anything you're having difficulty. I have a hard time seeing the cards on the field. The cards on the field are hard to select. I have a hard time seeing the card selection list. I think that's true. The cards in the card selection are kind of hard to select. I have a hard time seeing cards in the extra disc graveyard and the list of banished cards. Yeah, you could do better there. Cards in the are hard to select. Yeah, you could use some improvement. I find it hard to switch phases. I find it hard to read the duel log. No, It is kind of hard. I don't know how to bring up the duel log. The card details are hard to read. Yes. Making moves during the turns long. The animations that show up are too long, so yeah. These are probably all of the complaints that they got in QA, and so they're trying to figure out where to focus on. Alright, are you enjoying solo mode? Yeah. I think it's pretty good. How was the difficulty in solo mode? I find it a little easy. I'm enjoying dueling with the loner decks. Yes, I do enjoy that. I want to see more loner decks. How do you feel dueling in solo mode gives you a good do you feel they give you a good grasp for the unique features of each deck archetype? I'd say kind of neutrally, because really it feels like in solo modes they need to script something where you play a lot of different cards and repeat it and just bang it into your head that this is the concept, this kind of this card does this concept, this card does this concept, and this card does this concept, instead of just giving me one card that activates that effect. I need to see probably 6 or 7. Solo mode stories, I think they're neutral. Did you find the menu screen for solo mode to understand and use? Not really. I'm enjoying reading the stories. I play because I want to earn rewards. That's true. I like the option to try out different things. I can play by myself at my own pace. That's true. I love to read the stories. I'm struggling with loner decks. I don't know how to duel. I'm struggling to win because my opinions. I enjoy reading the stories too. Are you enjoying ranked duels? Neutral, and that's going to be about the same. Are you satisfied with the rewards of ranked duels? Not really. Yeah, I'm going to put that as kind of a... You find the menu screen for ranked duels easy to understand. Neutral. Do you think that the time limit for play versus play, it is way too long? Clearly they know that. I'm playing because I want to earn rewards. I'm enjoying battling others to climb up ranks. I feel reluctant to battle others. I don't know how to build a deck to help me win. That is true. I can't get the cards I need to build the deck I want. That's probably somewhat true also. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. What do you think? How do you like the deck editor? I would say it's kind of awful. Do you think the deck screen is easy to use and understand? Do you understand the card crafting system? I feel I understand it. Yes. Do you find the card crafting system easy to use? Not really. Do you think the amount of craft points needed for generating... What do you think of the amounts of the craft points needed for generating cards? I think when I say not a lot here, I mean I want the things to be changed to cheaper. What do you think about the crafting points earned by dismantling cards? Not a lot either. But frankly, they may keep the exact same ratios and just make the numbers bigger. Yeah, I think I want to say a lot. This is kind of confusing. Let's see. Find it hard to find cards in the card list. The card details are hard to read. I find it difficult to see how many copies I have. I'd like to know how many card types of each monster spell trapper in my deck. I find controls to add cards in the deck a little bit difficult and cumbersome. I find the controls to remove cards from the deck difficult and cumbersome. Card filtering is a little difficult to use. The bookmarking feature I haven't used. Card history feature I haven't used. Feature of drawing a test hand. Yeah, that's just dismantling and generating. And just give general complaints about the greediness. I understand that the dual pass works. Dual pass rewards motivating you to play a game. I'm gonna say, for just fairness, I'd like to see the dual pass go away. So I'm gonna say no, they don't motivate me. Our dual pass rewards motivating you to play. No, they don't motivate me. Yeah. Do missions motivate you to play the game? I'd say yes. Do you think of the mission rewards? I think they're a little low. Definitely would like them to be higher. What do you think of the dual room controls? I am not using it at the moment. Shop controls. Yeah, I think it's kind of all over the place. Secret packs. Let's see, if I click other, it's gonna possibly ask me to type in something, but there's a secret pack that I want. I don't know which secret pack to buy. That's true. I don't know how to find secret packs. I do. Let's go with that. Overall satisfaction. I'd say overall we're satisfied. Please tell us what you'd like to see in future updates. Implementation of more trading card games. What does OCG stand for? Original card games. Improve deck control. Improve the pacing of visual effects. Improve the deck editing feature. Expanding solo mode. No, definitely not adding accessories. Improving dual controls. Implementation of new cards. Done. Thank you for taking time to fill in the survey. You will take your feedback on board to improve Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and make it more enjoyable. We thank you for your support thus far. So, now that we've done the survey, you'd almost assume that the survey is done. So, you could submit the survey again if you wanted to, but you're not going to get 50 gold for it. And this kind of sucks because this puts you in that weird position where, yeah, if I could just get one more mission here, if I could get 50 more gold or 50 more gems somehow, I could open another pack of 10 cards. But yeah, I just don't feel like there's much left as far as opportunities for this to happen. We will do it undoubtedly as we cover more of the solo mode, and solo mode is working now. I assume that this is just going to scroll down and down and down, and eventually we're going to have to see these get into subcategories and folders if they're going to continuously add more content. But if they don't add more content, then you also have problems there. There is one thing we can do. We could try to buy, I guess, structured decks. But no, you can't. We'd have to craft future structured decks. So there's nothing we can do until we get another 1,000 gold and just continuously double down. We can go to this screen to create a new deck. It definitely feels like there's gotta be an easier way to get to this. And we can dismantle all of our extra cards, which will give us 210 crafting points, and for normals 170 crafting points. Here we have kind of a ridiculous amount of crafting points, but let me type in like raw here and see like where cards we don't own and filter by ultra rare. No, it's gotta be RA space, I guess. RA space, enter. Doesn't work either. Well, we'll use Cyberstein here as an example. I could generate Cyberstein, have him in my deck, and then get like a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon on the field for 4,500. But yeah, those God cards. Actually, it doesn't feel like it is that expensive to craft these ultra rares. If we're sitting on 160, that's not a lot. And if we look at all the ultra rares in the entire game, that's really not crazy. We are getting a decent amount of cards. The only thing that I guess really would mess up here is if we found out that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of dead in the water and there's a lot more super rares in comparison, and we have way less super rare dust. Yeah, if it turned out that Yu-Gi-Oh! Just isn't really making expansions anymore and people have moved on, then this might be as far as Master Duel ever goes, and maybe Konami is just releasing the same old game over and over again. That being said, if you look at like the Dragon Ball fighting games, for a long time there, they were covering the exact same Dragon Ball storylines over and over again, but there was improvements and still enough demand for people to play. And what we would really have to keep an eye out for would be if we started seeing that there's just not a lot of people connecting and willing to want to play. We can now change that icon. We might want to go to silver instead of bronze, because bronze is kind of ugly. We haven't gotten any new dialogue. Can we not just disable the character? Clearly there's gotta be some way to just disable the character. Currently set. Details. Yeah, I feel like I just got this rabbit character by default and then it automatically connected. And we can change the monster art. Which, I guess changing the monster art probably means that on the main screen where you have something different now. That's something slightly interesting, but you're not going to spend a lot of time on this main screen. If anything, the fact that this main screen is just so incredibly empty is a mistake. Alright, well, that's 2 hours and 30 minutes, so that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.